crimson clover, that's the one you're seeing on the side of the road a lot. It makes the big long red cone. Great annual clover, good for turkeys, good for deer, good for acid soils, early growth. I like that for this part of the world. This is white clover right here, and I've had a similar experience to you. This was a beautiful patch, big field, probably 10 acres, white clover. I couldn't find any deer utilization. In my opinion, it's not a bad clover because I mean, a lot of people plant it, and all the experts talk about how great it is, but I'm not going to plant a lot of that in a food plot because if I'm going to depend upon summer forage, you know, from my white clover, which is basically what you're getting out of it late spring, early summer, I think there's better stuff. Arrowleaf clover is another good one. It persists well into early summer. You know, the thing about the clovers is they're going to go much further than your cereal grains. They're going way past your hunting season. So that's all in that decision making of what's your food plot about. If it's just to shoot deer, then that's one thing. But if you want to, you know, help them along further into the year, then clovers are going to become important. If you're just doing it to shoot deer, you might even want to plant any clovers, unless you just want to fool with them, because the growth is on the back end after hunting season. Brassicas. Okay, basically you're talking about 4 different types. You've got kale, rape, turnips, and radishes. Your kale and your rape are all top growth. Then you have your turnips and your radishes. Well, they have the tubers and top growth. Okay, so you get both with them. A few things about all of them. Best planted alone, in my opinion. Okay, if you're going to plant them in a mixture, 1 to 2 pounds per acre is probably about all. That's what most of the experts recommend. Not planting more than 1 to 2 pounds per acre. And the reason for that is those big leaves you were talking about a while back. That guy, what does that do? Shades out your cereal grains. So cereal grains, I'm just going to run through some of the more popular ones. Oats. Okay, highly preferred by deer. If most of the research has been said, I'll just tell you right off the top, if you can only plant one thing, oats is probably the best, especially of the cereal grains. Wheat's another great one. It tolerates more wet conditions, more cold harder than oats. What I always do is I mix the two. Triticale, I don't know if you've heard of this. It's a hybrid between rye and wheat. It's planted in food plots a good bit. It grows well on less fertile side. It would probably do well on your side. Rye is another really good one that we don't see a lot around here, but it's good. It's not as tolerant of wet sites. It's going to do better on dry sites. It's more cold harder than oats, much like wheat. There's the Australian winter pea. I don't know if you can read that, but that says 35 inches right there. So that's the kind of growth untouched that you're talking about from winter pea. You ever want a buffer, good place for a fawning habitat for deer? This switchgrass is good. It's called Alamo switchgrass. Now that's not something deer is going to eat. That's just cover. You know, so it may not be of interest to you at all, but I threw that in there because we was talking about that buffer in front of stands or something, or maybe along the edge of a food plot just for a soft edge effect in the timber. It's a good species. The absolute worst choice you can make out of anything planting for deer, for one reason, is these others are cereal grains. Ryegrass is not. It's a grass. Okay, it has a real narrow leaf. Okay, it's not as palatable to the deer. They're going to select those more palatable plants first. It's hard to get rid of. If you ever get it, you've already got it. In the farming country, they absolutely hate it because it gets into crops and they got to deal with it in the early years. So